In this episode of Idea City.
So remembering the lessons I'd already learned, I wanted to design a new vehicle that was not geeky in the slightest. I did a number of different sketches, and I learned from the reactions I got from different people that people really seem to react well to the unicycle look.
Also,
what the Central Industry Hub is meant for is for all the pretty much the offices or the factories of this space settlement. It's meant to support the economy, and the main economy here would be spacecraft manufacturing and zero-gravity research.
So in our working notes, we call this session Get Moving. Now we're moving into modern ways of getting moving. So if you'll have a look in your program book, find the page for young Mr. Gulak. Gulak. Who? There you are. Okay, Ben. I was hoping you would drive it on stage, Ben, so come on up and tell us where your one-wheeled motorcycle is.
Well, so the actual bike right now is down in Boston. We're in the process of building a new prototype, and we just couldn't get it up here for this show, unfortunately. Right now it's still 25 miles an hour, but the new one we're building is going to go 40 miles an hour, and we're hoping to have that one start hitting bike shows by the end of the summer.
Did you bring some pictures with you?
Oh, yeah, there's a slideshow that goes with
All
it.
right,
So
carry on.
You guys are probably going to be sick of it by the time I'm done up here. So, good afternoon. It's exciting just to be attending today. I still can't believe I'm standing up here. The reason I'm here, which actually started with the high school science project, is a huge surprise to me since science and engineering were definitely not my favorite subjects, though I think they might be now. I'm 20 years old, originally from Milton, Ontario. I'm currently a freshman at MIT studying mechanical engineering. I'm here because the Uno, often described as the world's first unicycle motorbike. In fact, the Uno actually has two wheels side by side. It travels at speeds up to 25 miles an hour, but the speed of 40 is in sight. The machine is self-balancing because of its gyroscopes. It can take any weight and is small enough that you can fit it in an elevator to bring up to your apartment or dorm. But maybe best of all, the Uno is entirely electric and green. It doesn't use a single drop of gasoline. My dad owns a company in the food industry which sells machines all over the world. That summer, he made a business trip to China and brought me and my mom along. While my dad was in meetings, my mom and I toured the city. 3 cities, in fact: Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. You know when you fly into a city and you look out the window and you see the whole terrain laid out below? Well, just before I passed through the clouds in China, that was the last time I ever saw the sun. There was so much smog over all 3 cities that there was never a clear day, never a clear sky, and never a starry night. It really hit me how bad the pollution really was. I remember reading a story in the newspapers over there how every day 20,000 new cars were hitting Chinese roadways. And I couldn't help but wonder, with so many new people buying cars, what would the global impact be? What if everyone in China were suddenly driving a car? And that was a big realization for me. There was another way, too, that our trip had an impression on me. I noticed that aside from all the bicycles that were on the roads, there were just as many mopeds, motorcycles, and scooters, all burning gas. People were attaching little 2-stroke engines to anything with wheels and driving it on the road. Again, all creating pollution. There should be a greener version of transportation like that, I thought. Something small and compact, but better for planet Earth. I couldn't shake the memory when I got home, all of that pollution, so I started sketching ideas for a new type of vehicle for next year's science fair. I was already aware of the EV1, the electric car produced by GM 10 years earlier in 1996. It was a perfectly fine-looking car, but it definitely wasn't cool. And that had to be one of the reasons why GM discontinued it only a few years later. I was also aware of the Segway, the 2-wheeled self-balancing scooter, widely touted as the future of transportation. However, it's been pointed out by others, as in the book codenamed Ginger, that the Segway turned out to be a major disappointment, only a niche product. In fact, as of March of this year, Segway officials said that the company has only sold 50,000 units worldwide. What had struck me and many others was that from a marketing standpoint, the Segway just didn't look like the future. Or even sexy. But cars and motorcycles are more than just transportation methods. So remembering the lessons I'd already learned, I wanted to design a new vehicle that was not geeky in the slightest. I did a number of different sketches, and I learned from the reactions I got from different people that people really seemed to react well to the unicycle look. So now with my partner at the time, I started to build a new prototype, the machine under the skin. It was actually ridiculously ugly, with brackets welded onto it and batteries lashed onto the sides, but that's what we submitted to the science fair. And we ended up being picked to go to ICEF again with Team Canada, this time in Albuquerque, New Mexico. By the time we got there, we'd refined the prototype again. Now it was called the Uno, and this time we won a second place award. But more importantly, we won the award for the project with the most marketability and real applications in the world. So I decided to take a year off from school to keep working on the Uno. That summer, I finished the bright orange shell. Everything was done on a shoestring budget. I let the painter put his logo on the bike so I wouldn't have to pay him. The fiberglass people put their logo on it so they didn't get paid. I mean, the thing was like a NASCAR with all the stickers on it. Another lesson I've learned is the value of luck. I know I've been lucky. Popular Science was going to run a small one-paragraph story on science fairs. But by the time they had the thought and the time of their actual deadline, the design of the Uno, and I guess its coolness factor, progressed to a point where they wanted to brighten its spotlight. I was glad that I'd continued to develop not only the technology, but also the look of the vehicle, because by the time the magazine's deadline approached, they thought it was now photogenic enough, especially with its shell on. The Popular Science coverage grew from a single paragraph to Invention of the Month to the cover as one of the top 10 inventions of the year. At about the same time, I'd entered the Uno in some local motorcycle shows, where it caught the eye of Motorcycle Mojo magazine and the famous bike builder Russ Mitchell. The incredible result? 2 magazine covers, both in the US and Canada, just days apart. That brought media in from everywhere, with calls from all the British newspapers, the BBC, and online blogs.
When we come back,
Suddenly I knew it was time to start raising money, which taught me another lesson: the value of support.
get the latest Idealist news, presenter information, and watch streaming video at www.ideacityonline.com.
The Popular Science coverage grew from a single paragraph to Invention of the Month to the cover as one of the top 10 inventions of the year. Suddenly I knew it was time to start raising money, which taught me another lesson: the value of support. First, speaking of luck that one can't control, I was more than lucky with my choice of parents, Ken and Sylvie. It would have been all too easy to give up along the way, but their support was never wavered, and it stoked me on. Next came the need for money. At the age of just 19, I'm still not considered a sure thing to invest in. So I had to be open to some pretty unconventional ways of fundraising, like appearing on TV shows, going on Dragon's Den. And as nervous as I was for how it might have turned out, the results were pretty exciting. Here's a highlight.
Product is the Uno, and my company is BPG Technologies, and I'm looking for $1.25 million for 15% of my company.
$1.25 million for how much?
15%.
You didn't say 50, you said 15?
No, 15.
Okay. It better be good.
Is it real? Like it's real? Like you built this?
This is a real life-size prototype.
It is so cool looking.
Oh, thank you. I did all the design
it's
work
so cool.
myself.
Okay, Ben, we've talked about it. I think it's unanimous that we believe in you, and we're comfortable doing the deal at $1.25 million for 20% of the firm.
Do we have a deal? We have a deal.
All right. Absolutely. You want the cash already?
Yeah, I love this, man.
So that was 1 year ago this month. Since then, I'd better get used to it. There's been some ups and downs. One of the ups from all the media was an invitation to was pajama parties at the Playboy Mansion. I guess I really have to thank Mr. Levy for making me do that first science fair. Among the downs, however, was the recent economic meltdown in September. One investor I'd found now had to pull out, and I'd still not received any funding from the Dragons. Times were really tense, and I didn't get the check from the Dragons till just 4 months ago. Finally, that made it possible to open our office in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and hire a full-time team of people. We have an industrial designer, a control systems expert who's a former MIT prof, another PhD in mechanical engineering, and a CEO with experience with tech startups. More than ever, I believe in the importance of working from passion. In the middle of a stressful time, it's really important to believe in what you're doing and genuinely be excited about it. I've learned never to let people convince me I can't do something I believe in. And even though I go through periods of self-doubt, you can't let others encourage that. As I said, I've learned the tremendous value of support. When I started this journey, I was in grade 9 without a driver's license. It was my mom who drove me to the machine shop and waited in the cold while I was inside working on equipment. This is the first presentation I've done to an audience like this, so I thank you for all being so nice. For me, the real excitement wasn't being up here on stage, but getting the chance to meet and interact with all of you and learn from your stories. I wish all of you tremendous success with your dreams. Thank you.
Amen. Look at that.
Thank God that's over.
Take it out. Ask some questions. First question. Have you met Dean Kamen? Has he driven on the Uno?
I haven't met Dean Kamen yet. Actually, we're sort of been putting that off for a while, but I'm planning on meeting him this summer.
Is the transport mechanism pretty much what it is on the Segway? I notice you lean in the same way, and you.
One of the things is the new prototype we're designing, because yes, there were quite a few similarities with the original design that everyone's seen. We've just finished filing a whole bunch of new patents that help break away from some of the Segway issues that we would have had. So, I mean, we're not sure where it's going to go yet.
And next question. The Dragons came in with all their money finally, or not?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, there's a difference between reality TV and the real life.
Well, that's shameful. Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of the things I had to deal with. And the recession was one of the factors.
So how much money did they come up with?
Brett Wilson ended up coming in with $250,000.
$250,000.
And we came up with some other money that was enough to move fully forward.
Did he get a piece that was pro rata, or did he renegotiate?
No, it was still, I mean, we kept it at the original rate. The deal that we negotiated was at the $6.5 million valuation, which is what he invested at.
And did you keep the other 80%?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right.
Thank you.